eservices.com.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Guess what? Our favorite sponsor's back.
Oh, it's the puzzle dude from Unidragon.
That's right, Unidragon. Yep, Unidragon.com. They have a brand new item. It's called the Playful Parrot. It's a 5-in-1 puzzle that comes on out that actually comes all the way up to the brand new size, which is the royal size. Now they're small, medium, king size, and royal size. So you can get 7 times bigger than the standard puzzle. What do you think about the Playful Parrots? Being a pirate adventurer that you are, Mike, what say you?
Oh, the owl's jealous.
The owl's jealous? Uh-oh. What's the owl saying about the parrots?
Oh, there's 5 of them and 1 of him.
That's right. That's what happens. You know what? When you're the original, sometimes you get replaced and upgraded. So if you want to get upgraded in your puzzles, now's the time to go to Unidragon.com. Again, that's Unidragon.com. Don't be fooled by other imitation puzzle makers. Only get your true puzzle from Unidragon.com. They're the best, and they're the world's leader in wooden puzzles. TechTime listeners, use promo code DRAGONTECH. Again, that's DRAGONTECH for a 10% discount code. Discount expires on August 1st, 2021. They're no longer 3 sizes, Mike. Guess how many there are now?
They're 4 sizes.
That's right. They're 4 sizes. Make sure to visit techtimeradio.com/sponsors and click on the Order Now button to go directly to Unidragon. Our number 1 sponsor says thank you, and the owl is jealous. Hey, Mike, as a business owner, why do we form an LLC or a corporation?
Well, that's pretty simple. We want to protect ourselves personally from the liability of the company.
That's right, Mike. The very next thing we should be doing as business owners is protecting ourselves personally from the finances of the company.
Right. Yeah, that's why you want to get help, and you can get help from the Business Doctor, which is founded by Dr. Glenn Smith, PhD in business management, accounting, and finance. Schedule your free business evaluation and consultation at thebusinessdoctor.us.
Enroll in the Rapid Business Credit Builder program and get up to 100K business credit under the company's EIN and the DUNS number in less than 6 months. The DUNS number is really important for your rating when you purchase other items from other businesses. Never having to use personal credit ever again. That's thebusinessdoctor.us or call 866-383-1030. Again, that's 866-383-1030 or thebusinessdoctor.us.
Visit the Business Doctor today.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Well, let me tell you about a poker idea that is phenomenal. Our friends over at Underdog Podcasts want our listeners to know about a fun event they're having. A completely free poker tournament. No credit card required to enter, and you can win real prizes. The tournament, the Underdog Free Invitational, will be held Sunday, July 11th at 12:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Registration is now open. Simply head over to the Ignition Casino at ignitioncasino.eu and go and schedule into the tournament poker lobby, and you can find the tournament under the regular tab. Tournaments are listed in chronological order, so go to July 11th and at 3:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 12:05 Pacific Time, the Underdog Free Roll Invitational will be listed, and you can click register. Enter in the exclusive password.
Is it Underdog21?
It is Underdog21. Any player who knocks out a host on the tournament will receive an extra bonus, as there are bounties on all of the Underdog hosts. Once again, that's Underdog Free Roll Invitation, July 11th at ignitioncasino.eu. And you can enter 100% for free with the code
Underdog21.
What is that again, Mike?
Underdog21.
That's right, ignitioncasino.eu.
Coming to you from the shores of the Pacific Northwest, keeping you up to date on technology, while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to TechTime Radio with not Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, technology news of the week. The show for everyday common person with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. As you can see, I'm not Nathan. Nathan couldn't be here today, so I have switched sides. I am on the other side of the board, or other side of the table, and joining me is our tech expert, Gwen Way, because I am not. I am a human behavior expert, and not a tech expert. So, welcome to the show as we live stream. Studio in Saturday. Well, it's Saturday.
Saturday live between 4 and 6.
Yeah, I can't do this. I'm usually
yes,
I'm
folks.
usually
I'm still here too.
So we live stream Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and from our home radio station of KKNW 1150 a.m. And if you're not listening or watching this show on Saturday, it's a rebroadcast. And if you've been listening, there's a what is it? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
You want me to do the speech really quick for you, Mike?
Have you recorded it?
No, well, up here in my head, I have. Okay, if you're listening on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, not 4 to 6 p.m., and Sunday, you're listening to a rebroadcast.
There you go. Captain Obvious is on the ball.
If I didn't know any better, I would think Nathan was just sitting on the other side right over there.
Right, exactly. All right. So TechTime Radio is a weekly 2-hour technology show that talks about current technology in a simple format without having to geek out. And on the first hour of today's show, we're going to talk about Apple that's reportedly working on a program called Retail Flex, which billionaire is going to take flight into space first, and Amazon changing its culture with founder Jeff Bezos leaving. Plus, we have a security expert. She has led a stellar career in the information technology field as an intelligence officer in the U.S. Navy and a cyber intelligence analyst for the FBI, and now the owner of her own tech company. Trina L Maritin will be joining us today.
I'm pretty excited to hear from her.
Oh, yeah. She has an application that will allow you to securely text people without Big Brother spying on you. And today we will not be having Mike's mesmerizing moment since we're hanging out over here on this side of the table. We're going to instead have Gwen's golden goodies. And
we'll see how that goes.
That will be along with our normal whiskey tastings, all in the first hour packed with technology information. And then in our second hour, after we've had enough liquor to relax from this weird day, we're going to have our letter segment, which is reading this week's email scams and funny phishing attempts. We have a special gadgets and gear segment in the studio with Gwen, our co-host, talking about an IoT gadget for your lawn and home. And then our featured segment where we review Windows 11 and why it might suck compared to Windows 10. And since Nathan is gone, we'll probably bag on him a lot.
It's fair.
Yeah,
I mean,
fair.
you know.
Anything is on the table. So we're going to have fun talking about technology. And I am sure this hour is going to make you want to go hum. Hopefully, if you want to laugh a lot and talk about technology. So welcome to the 2-hour show with TechTime Radio. I'm your host, not Nathan Mum. I am Mike Gordy and co-host Gwen Way. Great. Where do you go for all this TechTime Radio information? You go to www.techtimeradio.com. You can watch the live stream, sign up for our newsletter, listen and watch our archives, purchase merchandise, our NFTs, and even ask us technology questions that we could talk about on the show. Now is the time that you can engage with us on twitch.tv/TechTime Radio, and you can interact with our stream or send us a tweet at TechTime Radio. You can also call the studio here at 425-373-5527 or 1-888-298-KKNW or 1-888-298-5569 to be a part of the show. So now it's time to welcome Gwen Way. Gwen Way is the co-host, and our loaded question of the day is basically like, who are you, Gwen Way, and why are you the technology expert that is sitting in my chair?
Well, I am happy to be here and happy to be in your chair. It's kind of a switch, but you know, this works. This works. In terms of why I'm a technology expert, I don't know if anybody ever actually is a technology expert, but I've been working in technology since 1999. So,
okay,
you know,
well,
I think that counts.
Well, I think that counts. I mean, Nathan is I'm not a tech expert guy, but he's always a tech experty doing experty stuff.
I mean, that's true. I think the big thing is that there's always something new to learn about tech.
Well,
So
sure, right?
there's never that perfection of I know everything, I know all, which makes me not an expert. I'm always learning from somebody.
Yeah, I kind of struggle with that too because I've been working in the human behavior field for over 20 years, and there's always something new to learn about human behavior.
Oh, sure.
But I get to be an expert anyway.
At some point, you have to just kind of take that title and run with it, I guess.
That's right. That's right. So, Gwen, as always, we're going to have our whiskey tasting during the breaks and see if our whiskey gets a 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up. Or you're familiar with how we do that?
I am indeed.
Okay, because we like to drink until we're very relaxed during the second hour of the show. That's when we kick off the shoes and hang out and talk a little bit more relaxed.
Get to have fun.
So hopefully we're going to listen all the way through and pick up a few interesting facts that make you go, now we need to get our episode started with our first segment. This is our guarantee to bring you the top technology news that everybody we would talk about in the first 5 minutes.
What's happening in the world of technology? This is our top stories in the first 5 minutes.
Welcome to the top stories in the first 5 minutes of the show. Story number 1. Amazon is adding new corporate values as Jeff Bezos prepares to depart. Now, I believe we do have a audio clip.
I'm very proud of the culture that we have at Amazon. And, I think of it as a gold standard culture for innovation and pioneering work. And the people, I work with these people who, they're missionaries for what they do. They are, if you're giving great customer experience, there's the only way to do that is with happy people. You can't do it with a set of miserable people, watching the clock all day.
Okay, that's an interesting.
Wow.
That's an interesting take there. Okay, so what's going on is the company's leadership principles are getting new additions regarding being a good employee and embracing corporate responsibility. Amazon has drafted 2 new corporate values for its leadership principles, additions that echo those recent comments that you just heard, who formally hands over his role next week.
I find it interesting that they waited until he was leaving to acknowledge that they needed to be a better employer.
I think they've been getting a lot of pressure from a whole lot of places.
Well, certainly. And the fact that they have clearly not focused on their employees up until now. I mean,
Right.
Some of the stories that are coming out about them are not good for sure.
I know, right? So on Thursday, the e-commerce giant updated its list of 14 principles, which is an internally revered document that adds value that speaks to controversies that dogged Amazon as it comes to dominate multiple sectors of the tech industry. Are you familiar with the 14 principles?
I am indeed.
Okay, so if you don't know, just Google that and you can see it, and they're pretty upfront and straightforward. And this is kind of like the Amazon Constitution. The new values which are added to that are strive to be Earth's best employer, and success and scale bring broad responsibility, which is a very sort of an interesting word usage. And this comes as Amazon's treatment of its warehouse workers, partner retailers, and the environment attracts scrutiny from regulators. Amazon, of course, didn't comment on who drove the addition of the new principles or why the leadership principles were updated at this moment, but they're reminiscent of those comments of Bezos, who steps down on Monday. In an April letter to shareholders, Bezos wrote that Amazon needs a better vision for its employee successes. He also said the company should strive to be Earth's best and safest employer. The quote we have here is that our local communities, planet, and future generations need us to be better every day. Employees have voiced concerns about Amazon's impact on the environment, a topic explicitly mentioned in the principles, as well as the business's effect on local communities and its partners. In addition, comes as Amazon faces ongoing investigations for potential antitrust violations. The company has reportedly hired several antitrust experts in recent months. On Wednesday, Amazon told the Federal Trade Commission that its new chair, Amazon critic Lina Khan, should probably recuse herself from investigations of the company.
I also wonder if they're putting these 2 principles out now because they knew that the workers that were trying to unionize would probably get more power with Bezos stepping down.
Yeah, I have spoken this on many occasions about image engineering, and this is I think this is probably a reaction to that, and it's them attempting to image engineer their way out of it. So it's always the same stuff with these guys.
Oh yeah,
right. So the e-commerce giant has recently announced the efforts to reduce injuries at warehouses. Interestingly enough, with a Working Well program, as well as a collaboration with the National Safety Council that'll research workplace injuries and create an advisory council on prevention, among other things. A recent investigative report in the New York Times found that Amazon has viewed its warehouse workers as short-term employees and not as people who are building a career in logistics. So basically throw and go.
Yeah.
The new principle around being the planet's best employer embraces the ideas that workers may not always stay in their roles at Amazon. How's that sound?
I was going to say, that sounds honestly as if they're hoping that more people become throw and go.
And I think that's probably one of the big efforts of the unionization is so that they don't feel treated as such. So we'll see what comes out of that.
It'll be interesting for sure.
All right. So story number 2. Sir Richard Branson sets July the 11th as his time to make the space flight.
Speaking of Bezos, he just wants to beat him.
That's right. Let's listen to the announcement that was first broadcasted on Good Morning America.
Overnight, the billionaire space race heating up. Just weeks before Amazon founder Jeff Bezos' history-making launch into space, Richard Branson now says he's going to do it first with his Virgin Galactic spaceflight Unity 22.
Astronaut 001, Richard Branson. I'll be evaluating the customer spaceflight experience.
It'll be the company's first fully crewed spaceflight. Branson will be joined by 2 pilots and 3 other mission specialists. Virgin Galactic spacecraft launches from beneath a custom carrier airplane before being shot to the boundary of Earth and space, reaching supersonic speeds within 8 seconds.
Fire, fire!
The window to launch opens July 11th, just 9 days before Jeff Bezos launches with his brother and 2 others aboard Blue Origin's New Shepard.
Yeah, how about that?
Oh, yeah. He is specifically going to beat Bezos.
When we haven't heard from Richard Branson and all the lately and anything, and suddenly here he comes out and I'm going to go to space first.
You know, I like him overall, and he seems like a classy guy.
Yeah, he's a pretty, from my understanding, he's a very, very collegiate and very elegant man.
And ironically, he takes better care of his employees. I'm just throwing that out there.
There you go. So he's gonna do this hopefully on the 11th of July, if not soon after that. He'll be as he said, he'll be a passenger on the back of a Unity rocket plane that his Virgin Galactic company has been developing in the U.S. for the better part of 2 decades. This vehicle can climb to an altitude of 90 kilometers or 295,000 feet, giving those on board a few minutes of weightlessness and a view of the curvature of the Earth.
Oh, that sounds so amazing.
How about that, flat earthers? Sir Richard's intention is to introduce a commercial space flight service, which about 600 individuals have already put deposits down to take that ride.
Having ridden on Virgin Atlantic, I can only imagine that this would be 1,000% better. And were I in that top 1%, I would be lining up as well.
Well, let's hope so, because if the mission does indeed go ahead on Sunday, it would mean he is stealing that space on his rival in the suborbital space tourism from Jeff. And we all know that the founder of Amazon has been sinking a fortune into his hobby of rockets and building and getting up to space. And his scheduled flight is on the 20th of July.
I also appreciate that Branson is beating Elon Musk.
Well, yeah. We have these 3 tech giants, these 3 billionaires and their toys are the first ones in the outer space. All right. And finally, our story number 3, Apple is reportedly trying a retail flex work from home program for store employees. It would have employees switch between the stores and homes. It's reportedly working from this idea that employees could be remotely handling things like tech support and online sales part of the time and then working at the stores at usual at the other times. It's only a partial change, but it's still a big shift. Yeah. And more than likely it's been brought on by the pandemic. Doesn't seem like Apple is just jumping into this. The company is starting a pilot program that will last at least 6 months, with participating employees being paid the same salary plus some extra for internet and office equipment. And then we'll see what happens, because if Apple ends up adopting this model, we'll we might be seeing a lot more of this from other ones because, as we all know, the pandemic has shifted the way we buy things, and it's become very easy to believe that people will continue to have formed these habits of shopping online and in-store pickup.
I was going to say it's a big habit and easy to fall into for sure.
Right. Okay. And that's our top stories for the first 5 minutes. So, Gwen, we have to go through and go to our next segment here in just a second. If you want to learn more about this, please visit us at www.techtimeradio.com. Click on our episode section or blog to get even more details on these stories and features. Now it's time to get ready for our whiskey tasting at the break.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Have you heard about 180 Consulting?
No.
I love these guys. You know how much I avoid working with copy vendors, right?
Actually, I get to hear about it all the time.
Not anymore, because guess what? The guys at 180 Consulting took over the entire process. They assessed our needs, worked directly with the vendors on my behalf, and helped us understand our option. No sales fluff, just good information so we can make the right decision.
Well, that sounds good. How do they get paid?
Their only compensation comes from a small share of the cost savings they create. They work for us, and it's a win-win.
You know, that sounds like a no-brainer.
There's two ways to reach them. You can get them at info@180-consulting.com or visit them online at www.180-consulting.com.
www.180-consulting.com.
Thank you, Mike. 180-consulting.com.
Hi, I'm Bernadette Pager, host of An Informed Life Radio. In an age when the term misinformation is used to silence criticism and debate about COVID-19, vaccines, and more, we're bringing you doctors, lawyers, and scientists to discuss the missing information about your health and medical freedom. An Informed Life Radio airs right here on KKNW every Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. We're starting a real health revolution, one conversation at a time. Join us.
Okay, so in just a minute, we're going to have our Ask Our Expert segment with Trina L Maritin, an accomplished IT professional and retired U.S. naval officer with 30 years of service. She has broken barriers and made strides in her career that many said weren't possible. And in honor of our Independence Day weekend, we're excited to highlight this veteran for her commitment to not only our country, but to the hard work she's doing in IT. She's going to share some expertise about security and even an app she recommends everyone should have. So you don't want to miss that. So before that, though, we just had our first whiskey tasting, Gwen, during the break.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Well, first of all, I think this whiskey looks really familiar. Haven't you guys already tried it?
Okay. Well, yes. Today we have chosen Jameson Black Barrel Irish Whiskey. Now, on a previous show, we did have Jameson Select Black Barrel Reserve.
Okay.
Which is right here if you want to see it. There it is.
That's okay.
And
okay.
while I did have questions about whether or not they were similar, they are two distinct different whiskeys. So, what did you think?
I liked it actually so far. It's got a good flavor. It's really smooth. But I'm a fan of Jameson, so
Yeah, it is a good. So, the Jameson Whiskey Black Barrel is a combination of pot still and grain whiskeys. It's a matured sherry and bourbon oak cask to unveil a complex palette of sherry nuttiness, vanilla, and creamy notes. Unlike other Jameson whiskeys, Black Barrel is aged in twice charred cask, producing a blend of rich flavors ranging from fruity hints of apple and nectarine to the creamy tones of grain whiskey to the piquant flair of the pot still.
and that also explains the slightly different color.
Yes. It does have a very smooth. It did have a very smooth taste and swallow. So I am enjoying it. So now that we got our drinks out of the way, we have our segment with our technology expert joining us on TechTime Radio. Let's start our next segment.
This is a segment we call Ask the Experts.
So Trina L Maritin is an author, speaker, technologist, and podcaster. She uses her experiences to motivate audiences to overcome adversity, develop self-determination, and discipline. Naturally skilled at finding the harmony between technology, science, and data, She has led a stellar career in the information technology field as an intelligence officer in the U.S. Navy, a cyber intelligence analyst for the FBI, and now is the owner of her technology company. Let's welcome her to the show. Hi, Trina.
Hi, Mike and Gwen. Nice to be with you. I'm here.
We don't have any audio.
I'm sure we'll get her in just a second. She is very accomplished.
She's a native of Chicago.
Oh.
She's the youngest of 4 children. The first in her family to attend college, and due to lack of support at home, she knew she would have to achieve her own goal. With unwavering determination, she enlisted in the U.S. Army and served in the reserves to put herself through school at Alabama A&M University. Both of these choices fueled Trina's desire to succeed and revealed the depths of her resiliency.
Impressive.
Throughout her career, the common denominator has been her ability to set goals and not only achieve but surpass them. Self-motivation, discipline, and hard work are the driving forces that helped her design a life and career that defied the odds stacked against her. How we doing?
Can you hear me now?
Trina, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
She can hear us, but we don't have audio for her. Okay.
Not a problem. I mean, I'm really looking forward to hearing from her. Having read a little bit about her and also knowing that she's focused in security, which is such a huge portion of technology these days.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be really interesting to hear her take on things.
Well, let's hope. Let's see what we got here coming on. Hopefully we will have her back and the audio will be. Where is the audio working?
Hello?
Can you hear us, Trina?
I still can hear you. Can you hear me?
Us. We can't hear her. All right. Today's going to be a lot of fun, I can tell.
It is always an exciting time. It'll be all right, though. We'll get through this. Security, like I said, is really taking off. The security field is.
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing a lot more startups with that as a focus. I'm wondering if some of that, at least currently, is coming out of the pandemic and the fact that everybody had time to focus on this. It became a much bigger focus for companies, small to medium-sized businesses, as well as the larger businesses, because
well, as we've been talking about over the span of this radio show, that during the pandemic, a lot more cyber attacks have been occurring, a lot more breaches have been discovered, and a lot more awareness is being generated. So even to the point where President Biden has decided that he needs to do something and step in and create more security around this.
Exactly. So seeing that continuation is very interesting. The biggest focus being on making sure that not only are major industries such as meat packing, oil shipping, things like that are protected, but even the smaller companies with a lot more online sales. A lot of the smaller retail companies are having to focus on it now too.
Well, yeah, and even personal security. I mean, we've all heard Nathan talk about how many times he gets attacked on his stuff, but of course,
I mean, part of that's because let's face it. Nathan's a little mouthy.
Exactly. That's okay though. The whole thing though is always fascinating from a human behavior expert, because here we are stuck at home. I guess people are now deciding that they can't go out anymore and whatever they do, so now they have to sit around developing cyber attacks and stuff.
Exactly. I spoke to somebody a couple of weeks ago who has a job at a cyber firm, or a security firm rather, and she said her interview, at least part of it, was researching the company and breaking into them first to prove that she could.
Yeah.
So I find that fascinating, and I think that employing that kind of personnel at security firms is a great idea. They've shown that they can do this. They show that they've can understand coming at it from a penetration standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can understand how to get in, you can understand how to keep yourself out.
Okay. Well, that certainly makes sense.
Yeah.
That certainly makes sense. What do you think is the future of this field?
I think honestly, at this point, the future of the security field is focusing more on the small businesses and personal security
Mm-hmm.
rather than the large businesses. Most of the large businesses have a security team and are already running these things themselves. Now the smaller businesses are understanding that they really need to catch up.
Well, I think the biggest advantage for small and personal is that they're small and personal. There's not a lot of assets that somebody can grab from a small business.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of stuff that you can technically grab from a single person unless they're in that top echelon,
unless they're going to space.
Yeah, unless they're going to space on an Uber yacht. Okay.
Hello.
Anything? Are we doing all right over here?
Can you guys hear me
No.
now?
Awesome.
It's okay. We can keep going.
Yeah. Nathan, you're in trouble.
Yes, Nathan, you are in trouble.
So,
Goodness.
okay. Well, tell us more. Tell us more about what this is. We'll fill up some time with talking a little bit about this from your side of the barn, because to me, from my life, I'm not in the tech world. I'm very well, I can't say I'm not in the tech world. I'm not deeply embedded in the tech world.
Right.
Right. So a lot of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, I have no idea how it works, what it does, why it's going on as much as it is. Well, maybe I can speculate about that, but
I bet you can figure that out. Yeah.
well, it's the same. Like I was said, it's the same thing as a smash and grab job, right? So if I'm standing outside of a jewelry store and I decide I need to go in real fast and grab as much loot as I can, it's sort of the same thing as somebody sitting in a computer and going, I wonder if I can break into this and get some data out of that. And we've talked about several different types of attacks.
Yeah.
For different types of industries, like the gaming industry and the meat packing industry and the oil pipeline and everything. So,
well, one of the interesting things, at least interesting to me, is that it seems to be less about money these days. The hackers are not necessarily focused on, if I do this to you, you have to pay me X amount.
mm-hmm.
Or if they are, it's generally a smaller amount of money that is easily gotten from larger corporations.
Right.
A lot of it is more about inconveniencing and acting as, quite frankly, cyber terrorists, getting their news and their stories and their feelings out there.
So you're saying that people are doing it more as an ego trip than to actually get, because we've talked about both of these aspects too.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting thing is that when it's about the money, there's a very civil negotiation,
a discourse, exactly,
that goes on, that you can actually almost call a customer service line and say, hey, we can't pay this amount of money, and then they talk you down. Well, what can you pay? Well, we can pay this. Okay, you pay this and we'll release your.
Well, if you think about the pipeline, I mean, the cyber terrorists asked for a relatively small amount, all things considered.
Mm-hmm.
But then they dragged their feet in actually restoring the data. They took as long as they possibly could to make sure that the pipeline was inconvenienced and not working for as long as it possibly could be. You also saw some viral attacks back in the beginning when they were first starting to do the encryption against things like hospitals. You're not going to get money out of the hospital, but you make a point.
And what do you think that point really ultimately is from your standpoint?
It depends. A lot of it is, hey, look, I can do this. That's what we see mostly from the younger hackers.
Mm-hmm.
It's just proving your skills. With the hospital crypto, what we saw was it was somebody who had suffered a loss.
Mm-hmm.
at the hands of the hospital, and they blamed the hospital for it. So they were getting their revenge.
Right. So let me ask you this question. If was there a way to anticipate all this madness back when the computer revolution began to take hold?
I don't think there was a specific a way to find that specific madness. There may have been. We should have been able to tell that this was going to be used for damaging purposes, simply because human nature.
Okay. All right, so we have to head out for a break. We're still having some technical issues with getting Trina on here. So hopefully we'll figure that out. But we're going to see if we can get back in just a moment. Stay tuned. We will be back in a moment.
Did you know that up to 12 to 15% of Americans grind their teeth at night while they sleep? Yeah, it's called bruxism. I used to work at a sleep lab, and we used to measure that, and it leads to a lot of problems like headaches and destroys your teeth. It wears down the enamel, and it's just very hard on your mouth.
So every once in a while, I'll wake up, my jaw will hurt. Do you think that I'm grinding my teeth at night?
Yeah.
Well, so how do you go about protecting this then?
The number one recommended way of protecting yourself from teeth grinding is what's called a night guard, which is a custom fitted prosthetic that you put inside your mouth. It usually runs, hundreds of dollars, but I know our sponsor, Smile Brilliant, can get you custom fitted night guards for as little as $45 a piece.
So if you go to smilebrilliant.com and use TechTime Radio at checkout, you can receive 20% off your complete order. So visit smilebrilliant.com and use the TechTime Radio at checkout code.
Hey, welcome back to Tech Time Radio. I'm Mike Gorday. This is Gwen Way. We're going to try and get Trina back on here. Have we fixed that?
Hello.
Oh,
Hi,
good.
welcome.
Yeah, there we go.
Gotta love technology, right?
Gotta love technology.
If it didn't break, I wouldn't have a job. So yes.
Yeah, tech is great as long as it works.
I would.
Exactly.
I'd have a job. Okay, so Trina, we talked a little bit about your background, and we want to welcome you to the show. We don't have as much time as we thought we would, but let me ask you a couple of quick questions. When you were a child growing up, did you ever think you would become an IT expert?
I did not. When I was growing up, I wanted to become a gymnast. So
Nice.
my goal was to be in the Olympics. So Simone Biles is living my dream.
I think
Okay.
she's living a lot of people's dreams at this
Yes.
point.
Oh well, but you went instead into the military. Now this says you were in the U.S. Army Reserves and an officer in the U.S. Navy. That's a jump.
Yes, I went to college. I completed a year at the university, said, okay, I need a way to pay for this because I was self-financed. Joined the Army Reserves. This was during Desert Storm 1990, did 3 years there. Transferred over to the Navy, and that's where I served out my career. So for 30 years.
Impressive.
Yes, that's very impressive. Now, were you always a technical person in the military, or was that something that you found in the military and went into, or how did that work out?
Well, I went to college and actually got my degree in computer science. So the military helped me gain more experience in that. I started out like anyone else. Well, in the Army, I was an MBC specialist, so chemical. So go figure, that was not what I wanted to do.
A little
then
bit
when
of
I
a
went-
change.
Yeah. And then when I went over to the Navy, I got into information technology because, of course, that coincided with my degree. Got my commission as an officer, as an intel officer. So technology and intel, they work hand in hand.
Okay. Now, one of the big questions that we're hearing a lot about today is, does being a female in technology come with any challenges, considering that over 80% of the workers in the field are male?
Absolutely, they do. And I'm pretty sure Gwen could attest to this.
I know, right?
Very
Yeah.
true.
Very much so, because I was a computer programmer for 2 decades, working for some major corporations, and I found myself being underpaid, kind of dismissed as far as whether I was qualified or not, being doubted. And yeah, there's challenges. And it's funny to look back 30 years later and those things are still going on. So it's being a female in tech really has some challenges. And then also being a female of color in tech has a whole different set of challenges.
I bet.
Yeah. I'm often, well, not surprised is the word, but it makes me think or wonder why this continues to be a problem and why it continues to affect us in these different ways. But that's just human culture.
Yeah.
So, what was your first love? Was it technology, speaking, or inspiring others?
Ooh, I would probably say speaking. And it's funny because I was an introverted girl growing up, very shy. And graduating from middle school, I had the principal select me to give the keynote speech at graduation. And somehow, some way, when I got up to the podium and started to speak, I started not to be shy. I started to feel very comfortable. And I think that's where my love of speaking came in. And of course, being an officer in the military, that's something I had to do on a regular basis. So becoming a professional speaker on my own for my business is something that I just fit naturally in.
Perfect. So let's talk about your business a little bit. What is your business?
Well, my business, I work with small and medium-sized businesses to help them use secure communication technologies in their business operations so that they can elevate and stay connected to their distant clients, customers, and employees. And as we know, as a result of COVID, many companies have used technology in a way that they weren't accustomed to. And I'm gearing my services more towards the companies who don't have a IT department. So if you're a big Google, Amazon, you have IT department. You're not my client. But if you're the company that says, "Oh, you know what? My neighbor's kid, he's going to come and fix my computer." Yeah, you probably need my help.
Okay.
I used to describe it as if you've got Ed from down the street coming in once a week, you probably need extra help.
Like Ed from the Nerd Herd or whatever it is. Wasn't that a show? Wasn't there a show where there was an
Actually, there might have been.
Okay.
Might have been, yeah.
All right. So one of the things that we know is that you created an app about secure texting. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, I didn't create it, so
Okay.
it's not my creation. I wish I could claim that. But one of the apps that I like to recommend to people, and it's free, and it's called Signal. And it's a messaging app. And so many times, as we know, and as you guys were speaking about while we were having technical difficulties, it's not a matter of if you're hacked, it's a matter of when. And
Oh, yeah.
doing business, you have to do things securely. You have to, especially if you're a business and let's say you have intellectual property, you have people working remotely and you need to get sensitive information out. That's not something that you want to send an email. So Signal is a secure messaging app. And when I say secure, I mean it's end-to-end encrypted. So me sending a message to you is going to travel securely. It's going to be scrambled. That way no one can get in the middle and pick it up. So that way, if you want to get something across to your client or one of your employees that's working out in the field, say, and they're not sending a computer, and God forbid, please don't send social security numbers and things like that via
Well,
email.
it still happens.
No.
We're gonna do a segment next time that's gonna talk about a little bit of that.
Yes, and it does. It really happens. And so Signal is a way for you to do that and send those messages securely to whoever you're talking to. And that way you don't have to worry about it getting lost and somebody intercepting it and using it. And that's one of the reasons why we have so much identity theft and things like that. It's just a matter of people not being secure with how they communicate.
Right.
I appreciate a great deal that it is encrypted in movement and at rest. A lot of times you'll see files that are encrypted at rest, which means you can't log on to the computer and see them unless you have the encryption key.
Mhm.
Right.
But while they're actually in motion, like moving from one server to another, they're plain text and can easily be picked off.
Okay.
Yes.
So now I don't know too much about this stuff. And when you talk about end-to-end encryption and things like that, I've never heard of Signal, but isn't that what apps like WhatsApp claim to fame is, that they have end-to-end encryption?
Well, the funny thing is the people who develop Signal actually develop WhatsApp.
Oh,
But
okay.
There
Well,
we
that
go.
makes sense.
but WhatsApp is owned by Facebook, and we all know what Facebook does with your information. And it's just Signal is just more secure. It's a better way. Now you can use WhatsApp, but for business purposes and just in general, I use Signal, and that's what I suggest to everyone because it's better, and you don't have to worry about Facebook with their hands in something and getting your
Right.
data and eventually selling it, which we all know that that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't show up in the algorithm. That's good.
Right. Okay. All right. See, that makes a lot more sense. So, what would you tell an audience that is more like me, who has not a great amount of information about technology, now that you have their ears? What's something that you might want to tell them?
My thing that I always tell people, and this is not to geek out on anyone, but be careful with how you're communicating on the internet. Like I said, don't send things through email that you wouldn't want to just give to a person. So if you don't want to hand your social security card to someone, don't put it in an email. So don't do that, and just watch where you're surfing and where you're browsing. Don't click links. If you get email from someone and it's not recognizable and they're saying, "Oh, you owe the IRS and you need to click this link and call us." Well, know that the IRS is not going to send you an email. So just
No.
really be careful with how you're using the internet on your computer and email. Just don't feel bad by deleting something and not responding. Everything that comes through your email box is not something that you have to respond to.
I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. Now, see, here's where my area of expertise comes in. Is that we have we in this area, we have been a part of the developing internet age. We were around before the internet came on. We were around as it's developed into this thing. Now our children are growing up in the internet age, and they are more attuned to this type of communicating, which has its advantages, but the disadvantages are they don't necessarily understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I do. And that's something that you have to educate yourself as well as your children. Me being a mother of 2 teenagers in high school, that was one of the things I set them down when I first allowed them to have their own phone and to get on social media and the computer. I said, "Look, don't put anything out there that you wouldn't want me to see. Don't give your name, don't get your address, things like that." And especially since we are in that day and age where the children of today have easy access, and it's their world. Of course, when we were growing up, that wasn't so. Everybody is looking at social media and what you put out there. So if you have a child that's getting ready to go to college or finishing college and trying to get a job, they need to realize that those days of when they're at the frat party partying and they put that picture on the internet or
Yep.
whatever that is, they need to know that that may come back and haunt them. So you have to be very careful of what you're putting out there today. I mean, even we've even seen it, just some people professionally have posted views, their own opinion, where yeah, everyone has their own opinion, but that doesn't mean you need to put it on social media. And then they wonder
Yeah.
why they've been fired or whatever the case may be. So social media is great, but then it's also something that can really destroy you if you're not careful how you use it.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Or do you have any questions for her?
Not really. This is fascinating. The only thing I can think of to add to what you just stated is they may have to think about it even earlier than that. There was the girl who was a cheerleader who cursed in her own private Instagram and got kicked off the team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a very interesting time where what we used to take for granted in private is now becoming public so easily that is creating very serious consequences. So,
Mhm.
all right. Well, that's the time we have today. Thank you, Trina, for joining us, and thank you for your patience during that interesting interlude where we couldn't get your audio to work.
That's quite all right. I was just happy to be here. So thank you, Mike and Glenn, for having me.
Thank you.
Perfect. We're going to go to a commercial break. When we return, we're going to have Gwen's golden goodies and our pick of the day.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Guess what? Our favorite sponsor's back.
Oh, it's the puzzle dude from Unidragon.
That's right, Unidragon. Yep, Unidragon.com. They have a brand new item. It's called the Playful Parrot. It's a 5-in-1 puzzle that comes on out that actually comes all the way up to the brand new size, which is the royal size. Now they're small, medium, king size, and royal size. So you can get 7 times bigger than the standard puzzle. What do you think about the Playful Parrots? Being a pirate adventurer that you are, Mike, what say you?
Oh, the owl's jealous.
The owl's jealous? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What's the owl saying about the parrots?
Oh, there's 5 of them and 1 of him.
That's right. That's what happens. You know what? When you're the original, sometimes you get replaced and upgraded. So if you want to get upgraded in your puzzles, now's the time to go to Unidragon.com. Again, that's Unidragon.com. Don't be fooled by other imitation puzzle makers. Only get your true puzzle from Unidragon.com. They're the best, and they're the world's leader in wooden puzzles. Tech Time listeners, use promo code DRAGONTECH. Again, that's DRAGONTECH for a 10% discount code. Discount expires on August 1st, 2021. They're no longer 3 sizes, Mike. Guess how many there are now?
They're 4 sizes.
That's right. They're 4 sizes. Make sure to visit techtimeradio.com/sponsors and click on the Order Now button to go directly to Unidragon. Our #1 sponsor says thank you, and the owl is jealous. Hey, Mike, as a business owner, why do we form an LLC or a corporation?
Well, that's pretty simple. We want to protect ourselves personally from the liability of the company.
That's right, Mike. The very next thing we should be doing as business owners is protecting ourselves personally from the finances of the company.
Right. Yeah, that's why you want to get help, and you can get help from the Business Doctor, which was founded by Dr. Glenn Smith, PhD in Business Management, Accounting, and Finance. Schedule your free business evaluation and consultation at thebusinessdoctor.us.
Enroll in the Rapid Business Credit Builder program and get up to 100K business credit under the company's EIN and the DUNS number in less than 6 months. The DUNS number is really important for your rating on when you purchase other items from other businesses. Never having to use personal credit ever again. That's thebusinessdoctor.us or call 866-383-1030. Again, that's 866-383-1030 or thebusinessdoctor.us.
Visit the Business Doctor today.
This is the segment we've been waiting all day for. It's now time for Gwen's Golden Goodies.
Oh, how about that?
Wow. Now the pressure is on to see if I can deliver.
All right, let's hear it.
All right. Well, I think that this is something that we've touched on fairly regularly throughout this first hour, but it is very important to kind of hammer home a little bit more. And that is that as technology changes, as the world changes, and as we spend more time online, it is extremely important to make sure that we are being secure, that we are being protected, and that we are paying attention.
Which is very hard for humans to do.
It is. We've kind of put ourselves in a corner, if you will.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we have definitely done that. Our technological advancements are quickly outpacing our ability to adapt to them.
Very much so.
Which is an interesting dynamic if you think about it, because we're creating the technology that is then creating all these problems for us, which we don't know how to deal with as humans.
Exactly.
All right, so thank you for that. And now is our whiskey tasting. We gotta do the big reveal. What do you think about today's Jameson Black Barrel Irish whiskey?
Well, I have to say that as a fan of Jameson, I was pretty sure I was going to give it a thumbs up. Having had it, definite thumbs up from me.
Perfect. I'm going to give it a thumbs up too. I really enjoy the smooth taste, and you can taste the barrel. You can taste that barrel. So that's great. That is it. We are all out of time. On our second hour, we have our letter segment reading this week's email scams and funny phishing attempts. We have a special gadgets and gear segment in the studio with Gwen, our co-host, talking about an IoT device for your lawn and home. And then in our featured segment, we're going to review Windows 11 and why it will suck. Since Nathan is gone, we've been talking about stuff. I'm sure that during this hour, we make you go hum and hopefully make you laugh and have fun in technology. See you in a couple of minutes. I'm Mike Gorday, and here, Gwen.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, mum's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host, guests, and callers.
started business last year in the U.S. alone.
Yeah, I know. I was one of them. And I bet a whole bunch of those were e-commerce businesses.
That's right. A lot of them are growing so quickly now that they can't keep up with orders. This happened to someone I know. They started a business on Etsy. Then they moved to Amazon, and they're crushing it, and they make stickers. Pretty soon, they had too much inventory in their house. They were packing everything themselves, printing, postage, going to the post office all the time. And they actually ended up spending more time with the labor work than they did producing stickers.
Yeah, it's a big waste of time if you're running your own business.
Absolutely. But I do have good news. You don't have to ship your own orders if you run an online store. Fulfill Right can take care of your order fulfillment for you, saving you time, money, and stress. That means more time doing what you love.
Really? Delegating grunt work like shipping to someone you can trust is the secret to business success. Fulfill Right is the most trusted name in order fulfillment. The reviews back the statement up too. Fulfill Right has 5 stars on Shopify, Google reviews, and Trustpilot from over 100 businesses, just like your buddies.
Yep. Wow. I'm going to go to fulfillright.com right now, and I'm going to ask for a quote, but I'm going to use the special TechTime link, which is fulfillright.com/TechTime. That's fulfillright.com/TechTime. They're offering $100 off new signups for TechTime listeners. You get a lot when you sign up from these guys. Service includes same-day shipping, real-time order and inventory tracking, dedicated customer service, and volume-based discount.
You know, that sounds like a great way to get your time back if your business is really taking off. To learn more about how Fulfill Right can grow your business, go to fulfillright.com/TechTime for $100 off when you sign up.
I'm signing up today. Hey, Mike, as a business owner, why do we form an LLC or a corporation?
Well, that's pretty simple. We want to protect ourselves personally from the liability of the company.
That's right, Mike. The very next thing we should be doing as business owners is protecting ourselves personally from the finances of the company.
Right. Yeah, that's why you want to get help, and you can get help from the Business Doctor, which was founded by Dr. Glenn Smith, PhD in business management, accounting, and finance. Schedule your free business evaluation and consultation at thebusinessdoctor.us.
Enroll in the Rapid Business Credit Builder program and get up to 100K business credit under the company's EIN and the DUNS number in less than 6 months. The DUNS number is really important for your rating on when you purchase other items from other businesses, never having to use personal credit ever again. That's thebusinessdoctor.us or call 866-383-1030. Again, that's 866-383-1030 or thebusinessdoctor.us.
Visit the Business Doctor today.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's up?
Have you been thinking about buying a house but are unsure of where to start?
You know, I have been, but it's kind of a complex process.
First-time home buying basics will take a possible complex and confusing process and make it a breeze. Arizona residential real estate broker Josh Madison will guide you through the step-by-step process, as he has with over hundreds of other clients in the last 20 years. Josh wrote this book in a short, simple, easy-to-read format of less than 100 pages. 2021 is a whole new real estate market. So before you hand over any of your valuable information, call in realtors or even mortgage brokers, check out First-Time Home Buying Basics and cover your assets. Available now in paperback or ebook form. Buy now by clicking on the TechTime Radio link /sponsors and look for First-Time Home Buying Basics on your Amazon Market. You can also purchase this through the website at madisonmarkets.com. That's madisonmarkets.com. Get your first-time home buying experience basics today.
Coming to you from the shores of the Pacific Northwest, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics along with special guests to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mum.
Welcome back to hour 2 of Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mum, who is not here today.
I was going to say, you're still not Nathan.
I don't.
Yeah, you're still not Nathan.
You are not going to get me to dress like him no matter what you do.
What, those shorts and that bright shirt that he likes to wear sometimes?
No, I have a little bit of class.
Oh, he'd be all red, white, and blue right now, let me tell you.
I know. So here we are, the show that makes you go, technology news of the week. Show for the everyday common person with insightful segments on subject often weeks ahead of mainstream media. I am not Nathan Mum, as you might have figured out already. I'm Mike Gourday. I'm usually sitting on the other side of the table and making fun of Nathan. Today I'm acting as Nathan, and as you know, our show is live streaming in the studio today from 4 to 6, and that's on Saturdays, on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, and from our home radio station of KKNW 1150 AM. If you are not listening or watching our show on Saturday afternoon, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, not from 4 to 6, and Sunday, look, you got me to do it.
Didn't need me on that one. Huh?
No, and then you're listening to a rebroadcast. So
Nathan
make sure,
will be so proud.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to make fun of me. So make sure to visit techtimeradio.com to keep up with all the latest information. TechTime Radio is, of course, a 2-hour weekly technology show that talks about current technology in a simple format without having to geek out. We highlight top tech news for the week, along with segments to bring different perspectives and highlighted topics. Thank you for joining us on this second hour. And on this second hour, we're going to have our letter segment, which seems to be a fan favorite.
It's popular.
Where we go over a week's email scams and funny phishing attempt that Nathan gets regularly in his inboxes. We have a special gadgets and gear segment with our co-host Gwen Way, talking about an IoT gadget for your lawn and home. And then our featured segment today, which will be a review of Windows 11 and why it will suck compared to Windows 10. And since Nathan is gone, anything can happen. If you were in hour 1, you already know that's happened. Hopefully, we'll be okay this round. But I'm sure that during this hour, we will have something to make you go, and hopefully make you laugh and have fun.
We'll definitely keep it entertaining, if nothing else.
I hope so. So I'm your host, Mike Gourday, and co-host today is Gwen Way. I'm sure that this hour will make you go hum. Guess where you go if you need to figure out where all this stuff is coming from.
Could it be www.techtimeradio.com?
Yes. If you go to techtimeradio.com, you can watch the stream live. You can sign up for a newsletter, listen and watch archives, purchase merchandise, and our NFTs. If you don't know what those are, we've done shows on them, and even ask us technology questions that we could talk about on the show. So now is the time to engage with us on Twitch TV /TechTime Radio, or send us a tweet at @TechTime Radio. And if you actually feel like it, give us a call at 425-373-5527 or 1-888-298-KKNW, which is 1-888-298-5569. Be a part of the show, even though I'm not a tech expert. So now is the time to welcome back Gwen Way to the show. She is one of our producers and acting in as our co-host. And in there, we've got David Brown, our engineer, back behind the board. And as we always start off the second hour, we start off with a question from our conversation cards from our friends over at Love Shack.
When are you going to be on, Mike? Is it next week?
Yeah, I'm going to be on Love Shack again on the 8th.
All right. So everybody, here's the cross promo. Tune in Thursday afternoon, 1 p.m. Pacific for Mike Gourday on Love Shack Live right here on AM 1150 KKNW.
Thanks.
Let me just add that to my calendar.
Thanks, David. I will not be talking about my dating life.
Oh.
All right, so let's get our episode started here and ask this question from our friends over at Love Shack. If you could bring back one TV show that was canceled, which one would you bring back and why?
You know, I have to say that's pretty easy for me and will be fairly obvious for most of the sci-fi geeks out there.
All right. If you say what I think you're going to say, you just stole mine.
Firefly.
Oh, yeah, you just stole mine.
It was such a good show on every level.
Mhm.
And Fox just didn't give it its due.
Nope. We have heard this over and over again, folks.
Yeah.
I don't know if you agree or even know what Firefly is, but if you're not, take a look.
And if you don't know, go out there and watch it. Like, find it. It is so good.
Yeah, that was mine. So now I'm going to have to figure out another one to come up with.
Well, we should let David answer then.
So, David, what would be your TV show?
Well, it's definitely not sci-fi. It would be Dallas. Yes, I know Larry Hagman passed away.
Dallas?
Rest in peace. Yes, I grew up on Dallas, the original. And then when the reboot came, yeah, I was all over it. And they had us hooked. You know, Christopher had just died. They revealed John Ross had another sister, and then cancel.
Yeah,
right then.
Who shot JR, man? That was a huge question back in the day. Who shot JR?
Who shot JR? That would be, in the original, that would be Kristen, Sue Ellen's sister.
All right, well, you know.
And then in the reboot, he was shot by his own bodyguard.
Wow.
I didn't even know there was a reboot.
There was a reboot. It was on TNT in the early 2010s area, right before Larry Hagman passed away.
Oh, okay. All right, well.
There we go.
There you go. So you already got your chance at it. It didn't work out. Bummer. I think it would be fun to bring back Alf.
That was an amusing one. That's good.
Yeah.
That's like deep cut though.
That's the only thing I could come up with. I'm sure there's other TV shows that I could ask for back, but Alf was
Puppets eating cats.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can't
Now I gotta go dig out my old Alf puppet that I still have from when I was a kid when that was on.
Yeah, see, you got that Melmac stuff going on. All right. So let's get on with the episode, starting with our informative emails that not me. Nathan receives these. He gets a whole lot of them, mostly because he actually clicks on links and things like that. So
I think he does it on purpose. Yeah.
He gets a plethora of these things. I don't get these. Well, I get them on my phone all the time. I don't get them on my email. And this includes scams, phishing emails, and all-out mistruths disguised as legitimate emails in the segment we call
Letters. We get letters. We get back and back of letters. Oh, letters. We get letters. And the letters all have songs.
all right. That's my favorite. That's one of my
It's so
favorite.
good.
Okay, so these are all that Nathan has sent over today while he's not on the show. Nathan.
We see you.
Yes, we do.
All right. And our first one today is a very short one, and I will let you know as soon as I read it what the difference is. So it's from support at a whole bunch of letters and numbers, followed by appspot.com. On Friday, July the 2nd, to Nathan Mum, Microsoft is blocking these images. Click on the docx files to view all open accounts. Okay, now that's a very simple email.
Oh yeah.
And what you don't know is that they spelled Microsoft little m, the numeral 1, little c, the numeral 0, little s, the numeral 0, little f, little t.
Did I hear an R in there, or did they miss that?
They missed the R.
Oh, okay.
And they used an alphanumeric sequence that shows it to be Microsoft.
Yeah.
So it's taking advantage of your ability to put things together. And it says Microsoft is blocking these images. Click on the docx files, which is a Word file, to view all open documents. Now, since I don't do this and I already know what's going on, I'm going to ask Gwen, what happens when you click on the docx files?
Well, obviously it opens something, but I almost guarantee it is not a document. Or if it is, it's a document and a virus that piggybacks on it.
So it has an executable file on it?
Exactly.
All right. And for those of you who may not know what an executable file is, what's an executable file?
It's a file that runs a program in the background.
Right. All right. I don't think we'll do that one. That was like 10 pages long. All right. Our next letter is from no reply at customerservice.com, COTLUAHSNGE.AYAMBAKARSENAKS 787991 at mailingpaypalid.com.
Oh yeah, that sounds totally legitimate.
That's completely legit. This was sent on July the 1st and is regarding a daily news report, update security. New statement is available, sent to account status ticket number 235-23950. Dear customer, your account has been limited for security reasons because we've noticed significant changes in your account activity. We need to understand these changes better. So please update your account details. If you do not update your account within 24 hours from opening this email, you will be officially permanently disabled.
Ooh.
Verify your account at https:// 10 miles long of alphanumeric characters. Thank you for choosing us. We hope to see you again soon. Need help or have questions, please contact us. We'd love to help. Thanks.
I bet they would love to help themselves to your wallet.
And they have like tons more of links following that. This says thanks, and then there's an encrypted link. Please note that this message was sent to your email, followed by a link, followed by another link, followed by a whole bunch of other mishmashy stuff.
Almost guaranteed, if you click on those links, it's going to ask you to log in. And when you log in, it will tell you that you entered the wrong password. The reason that they do this is to gather your email address after they've made sure that it's a legitimate email address and as many of your passwords as they can possibly get. A lot of people have 2 or 3 passwords that they kind of cycle through. So you'll try one, it won't work. You'll try the next one, it won't work. You'll try the next one, it still won't work.
Oh.
And at that point, they have your email address and 3 possible passwords that they can try on numerous other pages.
Now, one of the title JPEGs here is an Amazon.com image. I don't know if that's the Amazon logo or what that is, but it obviously is created to look like it's something official. And that's one of the things that we do as human beings is we respond to authority. And when something like this comes over that looks official and also gives us an added scare, right? Because it says your account will be officially permanently disabled. That means I'm threatening to remove your access from whatever this is. It looks like.
And those are 2 big words, heavy words.
2 big heavy words that people tend to automatically respond to this. And here's what causes it. This is an affect of the limbic system. Are you familiar with the limbic system?
Roughly, but please.
But the limbic system is your survival brain.
Okay.
So these types of words and these types of emails encourage your survival brain to react. And that's what the survival brain is great at, is reacting, because that's how it keeps you alive from immediate danger. The only problem is that this is how technology has created the system where we can't keep up.
Because there's no actual danger there.
Right. There's no actual danger. So it's artificially creating an imminent threat that we respond to. And by responding to it, we act immediately. We click on this and we go, oh, we got to fix this because I can't have my account disabled, even if we don't actually know what that account is.
Yeah.
All right. Letter number 3 from customer service at McGrew-Charles@msn.com. Sent Monday, June the 28th to admin account, subject, update mail. Title, Microsoft verification. We are closing all inactive mailboxes as of the 29th of June, 2021. Please take a minute to verify your Outlook.com account to avoid service interruption.
Wait, Outlook?
Outlook.
Okay.
Sorry. I had a case of Nathanitis there. Click-on Phonics worked for you, didn't it? Oh, no.
Had to get you on that one. Sorry.
Oh, man. So it has a link that says verify now. This helps us stop automated programs from sending junk email. Thanks for using Microsoft Services, the Outlook.com team. That is simply a email verification that if you click on that link, they'll know that you have an active email there, and then they can send you other junk.
Exactly.
How are we doing on time? Oh, well, good. Okay. So last email. From Harold Park at hp@etr.ai. Sent Friday, July the 2nd to Nathan. Subject ETR Connect consultation request. Printers. Hi, Nathan. We have a new ETR Connect phone consultation request on printing equipment on Xerox HP, including PCs. Our client would like to learn more about the following. Estimated dollar amount spent on printer supplies, equipment, and PCs, and any other services, IT managed, etc., you may use with Xerox or HP. Plus, if you can speak on the contract structure, maintenance, service, supplies, length and value, and volume of usage trends over the past year. Number 2, how long you've been a customer, other vendors evaluated, and adoption replaced reasoning. Okay. If you have not signed up for ETR Connect, we can send you a claim account link if you would like to participate in this project, as well as future consultations on our platform. Have a safe and great 4th of July. Thanks, Harold. What is this?
It could be a couple of different things. I have to, first of all, laugh at the fact that it's they're talking about printers, given Nathan's feelings on printer companies.
What are Nathan's feelings on printer companies?
I mean, as you allude to in a certain ad, he's not necessarily thrilled with them. So that's kind of just delving for general information. First of all, it's verifying that this is an active account. But it's also verifying, hey, if I send something from HP, are you going to react because you have HP goods, or can we go with Xerox instead? And just kind of feeling you out to get a little bit more information about your tech and your tech level.
Perfect. Okay, well, that's all we have for letters. And really, what this segment is mostly about is just take time before you react to these things. Just like Trina said in the first hour, just like you said, just like I've said, take some time to pull back, look at what's being asked of you, and then put it in the trash. Because they're not.
Dude, don't get me started about my email. I hate my email.
That's right. That's right. So that's our letter segments. If you have any other great technology questions or an idea for a segment idea and would like to share it on the show, go to www.techtimeradio.com and click on Be a Caller and submit the idea so we can get it on the show. Up next, we have our special Gadgets and Gear live here in the studio. We're looking at an IoT device that is perfect for your garden and summer needs. And Gwen Way will, obviously she's in the studio. She will bring it out. And then we will have our What We Found on the Web segment, where we were going to talk about Windows 11 and why it might suck. So you don't want to miss any of this. We'll be right back with all of that here on Tech Time Radio.
Upper Left Corner is a PNW true crime podcast now streaming on all major podcast platforms. If you get excited when your favorite true crime podcast tells a story about a place that you've been to or the town that you live in, then Upper Left Corner podcast is for you. Each week, I tell you a story of a crime that has taken place in the PNW and give you background about the town the crime occurred in. If you like true crime, check out Upper Left Corner podcast, now available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and more.
Ace Hardware is a helpful place with prompt, friendly service, knowledge, and the little things that make a big difference.
Service,
selection,
advice,
community involvement,
competitive prices,
convenience,
located near you,
and the things you need, such as
house keys,
lawn and garden,
plumbing,
electrical,
hardware,
grills,
outdoor living supplies,
and even nuts and bolts.
When you visit Ace Hardware, you'll be greeted at the door and given the help you need.
So come visit us at Ace Hardware in Evergreen Way in Everett, Lake Stevens, and now Stanley.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Welcome back to Tech Time Radio with Not Nathan Mum today. If you want to join us on the show, we ask you to jump on the phone at 425-373-5527 or 1-888-298-KKNW, 1-888-298-5569, or on Twitter at TechTime Radio. So we jump into our next segment that explores new technology and inventor ideas from websites like Kickstarter and Indiegogo. We're lucky to have Gwen Way in the studio joining us today on the show. Let's get ready for our next segment.
What's new in our gadgets and gear?
All right, so Gwen, what have we got today?
We have got a really fun product. It's called Cassetta Wireless, and what it does is help you manage your lights via remote control. one of the things that I really appreciate about this is normally you have to replace all of your bulbs with very specific smart LED bulbs in order to work with something like this. In this case, it works with LED bulbs. It works with standard bulbs. It's much easier to actually work into your home.
Does this take care of the kind of rewiring of everything that you have to do in order to have a smart house?
It actually does. It's quite easy. So let me go ahead and open this up. I love that I can do this in person. This is much easier.
Yeah.
So basically what you get are these dimmer switches that you add in just like a regular dimmer switch.
Okay, so I put that in place of my regular
regular dimmer switch, and then you can use the remotes to control your lights. The really cool thing about this is that it can also be used with this outdoor power supply in order to plug into outdoor lights as well.
Okay.
So you could have a dimmer switch both for your internal and external lights.
Okay, so that has physical remotes that you would put like on your kitchen counter, or what about an app on your phone? Does it have that?
It also has an app, yeah. So you can, if you're not at home and you want to turn the lights on before you get there, you can log onto the app, turn your lights on. If you're away from home in a different state, you can turn your lights on and off so that people think that people are home.
Okay. And what is the cost and whether or not this is ready to go and everything else?
This is pretty much ready to go. Everything that you see here is what you need basically to set it up. Obviously, if you have multiple rooms that you want to set this up in, you'll need multiple sets. But the set as a whole is coming in at around $700.
Okay.
It's a little more expensive than a lot of the gadgets that we bring you from Kickstarter, but this is a guaranteed product. It's right here. It's physical. You can go and just purchase it.
Well, when we talk about all the other components for smart house setup, if you buy each individual component, I imagine you're going to spend more than $700.
Exactly. Oh, easily. And especially if, like I mentioned earlier, you have to replace all of your light bulbs. Light bulbs are expensive.
Yes.
Especially the good LED ones that are usually required.
Okay. All right. So this is the most important question of this segment.
Oh.
Okay.
Yep.
Follow me.
I'm ready.
Who in the mom household is going to buy this?
It wouldn't surprise me if Nathan had already bought it. But if he is not, then I am sure that his wife will be ready, because this would be a great way. For example, if Nathan was out in his office in the back, she could just turn off the light and he would have to come in.
Oh, that
would be perfect.
Oh, we just threw him under the bus. That's great.
Is it that my specialty anyway?
Awesome. Okay. All right. So to find out more information about the Casita wireless setup, you can go to techtimeradio.com. You can also go there to replay any of our segments. When we return, we are going to talk about Windows 11.
Oh.
All right. So join us right after the break.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. Story Coffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at storycoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at storycoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
Hi, this is Lisa Downs, host of Reigniting You, a new show here on KKNW that explores a variety of topics and timely issues for making mid to late career transitions. I'll be here every Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock bringing you guest interviews, career transition advice, and great stories to guide you to what's next in your career and life. Gain a renewed sense of purpose for your next phase with a positive, forward-looking approach. Get ready to be re-energized, recharged, and reignited Wednesdays at 3 o'clock.
Hello, Seattle. How would you like to have immediate and easy access to your live EKG and heart rate data? Your data right at your fingertips and with no need to hook up wires and leads or be strapped to a machine at the doctor's office. The new Pulse device from Vivomi continuously tracks your EKG and displays this data on your mobile phone. Have you ever wondered how your EKG and heart rate behaves when you're exercising at the gym, navigating the stressful demands of the workday, or just getting the kids ready for school or relaxing at home? The Pulse is a different kind of wearable, and you can experience this difference by going to www.vivomi.com and ordering your device today.
Hey, honey, did you hear what I heard?
What's that, babe?
I heard Mike over there at TechTime Radio. He's like battling he's in the like that the swimming with the sharks in that singles arena, if you will. You know?
Oh, bless his heart. And I also heard, like you did, that maybe things aren't going so great. You know what he needs, babe?
I think he needs to spend a little time in Love Shack.
Yeah, Love Shack. The Love Shack that airs every Thursday at 1 p.m. PST on KKNW 1150.
Come on, Mike. Come on over and join us. We got you.
Your business deserves the same expertise as that of a Fortune 500 company. If you need a CIO-level service, why hire a full-time staff member at $250,000 a year when you can get this on-demand service for fractions of the cost? As your CIO on demand will give you the steps you need to take so as to minimize interruption to your business and profitability, and provide you and your business with training and education to prevent future attacks. To get an efficiency review for your business today, contact us at www.ee-services.com.
And we're back on hour 2 of Tech Time Radio, and we're not going to talk about my dating.
But in case you didn't catch it earlier, this next Thursday, July 8th, 1 p.m. right here on AM 1150 KKNW, our own Mike will be on Love Shack Live. So make sure you tune in then.
Yeah, I think we're going to be talking about lying in relationships, which is probably a pretty interesting topic.
That is. It's a very important
Okay,
one,
now
too.
I'll have to listen in.
All right. So we just went over the gadgets and gear stuff, and we've obviously gone past and we've replaced our whiskey back. We now get to talk about something that I don't know if anybody's really excited about this. I'm not excited about this. Last week we talked about how Microsoft has decided to go back on their word and come out with a new Windows platform after saying that Windows 10 would be the last iteration that they created. So we're going to go into our next and final segment of the day and talk about
what we found on the web.
All right, so welcome to What We Found on the Web, and today we're going to talk about Windows 11, and here's everything that might suck about Windows 11. So Microsoft's newest OS overhaul is coming soon. Some of it looks great, and other parts not so much. All right, and we talked about this last week. Microsoft 10 is what we've been using for how long?
Quite a while. It's been about a decade at this point.
And it replaced 7.
7.
Which was actually a pretty good format.
7 was solid.
Which replaced Vista.
Which replaced Vista, which was not.
Was bad.
So Microsoft tends to alternate, I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
XP came out and XP was great.
Right.
Then came Vista. Not so hot. Then came 7. Excellent. After 7, there was actually briefly a time when 8 was released.
I was trying to remember if Windows 8 was actually a thing.
8 was unfortunately a thing. There was 8 and 8.1, and neither of them were well received. So they rushed and released 10 as soon as possible to try and gain the consumer support back. I find it interesting that they were going to stop at Windows 10. Just the same way that Macs stopped at OS X, which is, of course, 10.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that on our meeting a couple of days ago. But unfortunately, they couldn't hang on to it because Windows 10 was supposed to be, what was that term? There's a term. I can't remember it quite off the top of my head. But it was supposed to be just a service that they were going to update and continue to support and update. But they're no longer going to do that after 2025?
Yes.
Okay. And that means that you will have to abandon Windows 10 and go to the next iteration, which is Windows 11. So Microsoft unveiled this upcoming Windows 11 update to the world, and there were a lot of things that were kind of exciting about it for some people. You know, there's the full Android apps that are available, the Xbox influences, and no more tiles. I'm not sure why everybody doesn't like the tiles. What's the deal with the tiles?
So a lot of people disliked the introduction of the tiles because they were based on the Windows Phone. They wanted to have a seamless connection between the phone and the computer, kind of like what they're talking about with 11. But they did it with the tiles and Windows 8.
Okay, and Windows Phone, of course, is no longer around. So
exactly.
All right. So, but that doesn't entirely make up some of the really, and we really mean sucky details that are announced too. So one of the seems like for every great new feature, there's at least one additional caveat that makes everybody a bit wary of the OS rollout later this year. So first up on our come on list, Windows 11 Home Edition will only be available to customers via an online update.
You have to download it.
Right. That means there's no physical disk options and no Windows 11 installed on a USB. Not only that, but every Windows 11 Home Edition will either require a pre-existing Microsoft account or it will force users to finally get around to creating one.
Which I think is part of the reason for it, honestly. Microsoft is trying to kind of cement their control.
Yeah, this is some of that subterfuge that goes on behind the scenes that I don't know that everybody is aware of.
Yeah.
But we are often painted into a corner into doing these things. This is the same reason why we have to buy new phones every few years, because they stop supporting them and we are forced to go into and the whole 4 to 5, 3 to 5, 3 to 4G, 4G to 5G, blah, blah, blah. Right. So,
yeah.
Until now, a Microsoft account wasn't necessary, although of course it was strongly encouraged, of course, and or difficult to avoid. But it looks like those days are finally over once Windows 11 makes it onto your PC. And I don't know that that's such a huge thing, but there is that compliance activity about it that kind of just makes, I don't know, my skin crawl.
Well, it's pushing us into creating accounts that aren't necessary. And it also, from a security perspective, ties you into an online account rather than having just a local username and password.
Okay, so from that security, let's talk about that. I mean, we talk about Microsoft security being one of the best out there. And I of course don't know this,
right,
except from what Nathan says and what I've heard.
And it is excellent. However, having an account where you have to log in using an email account and a password, you're more likely to fall into the habit of using the same password that you've used elsewhere.
Which is still going to be probably like, I like chocolate.
Exactly. Password 123, something horrible like that. And that's problematic. It's going to mean that you have, your computer is a little less safe because it's not a completely separate username and password that is only for your local network.
Okay. And speaking about security and safety, you will be required to have a webcam.
They like that facial recognition.
Yeah, while you're at it. Despite Microsoft advertising increased security, more on that in a moment, with Windows 11, the company's fine print for the overhaul reveals another particularly annoying requirement. Beginning January 1st, 2023, all Windows laptops, now this doesn't include desktops.
No, it does not.
All Windows laptops will require at least a forward-facing camera. That means that every laptop, smartphone, tablet, and not just any webcam either. It has to be a high def, and high def here refers to 720p with a resolution of 1280 by 720 and a 1:1 aspect ratio.
Yep.
Furthermore, it also needs to have support for auto white balance and auto exposure. Now, you just said it. This is for facial recognition.
Facial recognition,
because that's
exactly.
that's a big piece to Windows sign-on security. I mean, I have it on my computer, laptop. One of the problems I have with that though is that I can't put my laptop down to let it run a download because it constantly is looking for my face.
It recognizes that you're not there anymore and it locks itself and shuts down eventually.
Yeah, that is one of the most frustrating things ever, especially because when I'm downloading it's a gaming update, it takes like an hour for some of these things. So I have to literally set this thing on my lap and do nothing while
or pick it up and carry it with you so that you can make eye contact with the camera at all times. Yeah.
And as soon as it fades, I just look up and look at it, and it rewashes. It's a pain in the neck. So this is going to become everybody's favorite game, apparently, after January the 1st, 2023, right?
Yeah.
All right. So this is going to also provide potential headaches for do-it-yourselfers, right? So next up on the must-have checklist, and these are all computer words that I don't know what they are, and Gwen is going to tell us. You have to have an enabled TPM 2.0 device, and that's Trusted Platform Module, which are dedicated processors for hardware encryption purposes like BitLocker and Windows Hello. Microsoft has required PC manufacturers to include TPM 2.0 chips within all their Windows 10 pre-installed products since 2016, but that stipulation has never extended to individual motherboards popular with do-it-yourselfers.
Yeah.
So many consumer motherboards don't even come with that TPM chip installed. Why is this going to be a huge problem?
Well, first of all, for the do-it-yourselfers who are building their computers, they're going to have to purchase the chip and install it on the motherboard, which is not the easiest things necessarily to do. You're probably going to have to get a soldering iron and make sure that it's installed correctly.
Now, are you a do-it-yourselfer?
I have been in the past. Lately, it's been just as inexpensive to purchase a pre-built computer. But I think this is going to change that a great deal.
So you think it's going to force people to go into less do-it-yourselfing and more, which makes sense from a business standpoint, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, especially since Microsoft is partnered with a lot of the hardware manufacturers. Dell, HP, Lenovo, Samsung, all of them. So.
Okay, so we're going to go off on a little tangent real quick.
Oh, sure.
Why is do-it-yourselfing such a big industry?
I mean, you can do all kinds of things, and it allows you to kind of customize not only the look of the computer, but also its functionality. For example, as a gamer, you know that you need a lot of memory. You need a high quality video card. And as a do-it-yourselfer, you can buy a smaller hard disk. You can buy additional memory. You can buy top-of-the-line video card for less than it would be to purchase, say, an Alienware computer that's already pre-built.
Right. Okay. So this may end up forcing people into the big block stores.
Exactly.
All right. So one of the reasons why this is a big thing is that the TPM2 chip prices are ridiculously high right now because of this little change from Microsoft. Scalpers are having a good old time jacking up the prices of normally very sensibly priced TPM 2.0 chips. Some have pointed out a chip that might have set you back $24.90 a day or two ago is now going for around $100. Is that accurate?
That sounds about right. Yeah. It's only going to get worse as we get closer to the release of Windows 11 because you're going to have those last minute people who are holding out for a better deal that quite frankly aren't going to get it.
Okay. Now, that generous 0% cut for apps has a big asterisk on it. One of the biggest back-end announcements for Windows 11 is the generous decision to allow app developers the option of using their own or third-party commerce platforms of their choosing, with Microsoft taking a 0% cut of the profits.
Yep.
That's definitely a nice change, but it explicitly applies to apps and apps only. This is the house of Xbox, after all, so game developers will still need to cough up tribute to their Microsoft overlords. Boy, thanks for that. That was a good one. That said, Microsoft announced it would be dropping its cut from 30% to 12% beginning on August the 1st. Take that, Apple. For any game sold through the Microsoft Store, but is a good reminder that Windows 11, like all big tech updates, will require a closer look. So what does that mean? Do you have any commentary on the app?
I mean, there's some big things going on there. First of all, one of the things that Microsoft is trying to do with Windows 11 is align the App Store with the Android App Store for your phone. So now that Windows Phone is no longer a thing, they've fully embraced Google's Android platform. And now you're going to have the same apps that are available for your Android phone on the computer. It sounds cool, and in theory it could be. The problem is that means that there's going to be a lot more people who are slipping extra things into the apps that are not necessarily safe.
Like background programs that mine data on your computer?
Exactly.
Oh, darn it. We can't get away from these people.
So now that you've got 0% apps, that makes it even easier and more profitable for people to do that, because now they're not having to pay Microsoft to put them in the App Store.
Okay. So that does bring up some of that interesting. So we're basically hacking ourselves if we...
Oh, at this point, yeah.
That's great. Awesome. So Microsoft announced that it would be bringing full Android apps to Windows, which in addition to running full native Android apps, Microsoft will also be adding them to the Microsoft Windows Store. And they will function similar to Windows apps and can be snapped to parts of the screen or pinned to the taskbar alongside traditional apps. Now, time will tell if this version is like the every other Windows OS and sucks, or is rare fine to be a winner. But it seems like we think that this will suck. So do we think that this will suck?
Honestly, yes. I think there are a lot of things that they are doing without a lot of forethought. I watched the video, and it was very much raw, sis, boom, ba, go Microsoft. But they are marginalizing users of other operating systems, refusing to admit that, there are a fair number of Apple users now that are both in the corporate environment and the personal environment.
So this is part of the Apple Microsoft war.
Exactly. And basically they're trying to forward the war by just zeroing out Apple entirely. You also have the fact that they are actually stealing a lot of the Apple functionality from OS X and putting it on Microsoft. So, oh, look, Windows looks exactly the same.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that, or you talked a little bit about that, and I'm not familiar with a lot of this stuff. So what you were saying is that Windows 11 looks a lot like Apple
Mac OS
X.
Exactly. They've got the same menu bar now. Instead of your start bar in the left-hand side, your clock in the right-hand side. The start bar has migrated to the center. And as applications come into focus, they pop up on there and then jump up. So they draw your attention. The problem being that the clock is still in the bottom right-hand corner. So they don't have that balanced look that OS X does. Instead, they have this giant chunk in the bottom right that's just kind of holding them steady. The other big thing that I think we need to look at, and Microsoft is trying to get away from, is that a lot of the new features that they're adding are just recycled features. They talk about how excited they are for widgets.
Yeah, widgets are something that's been around forever, right?
They were there with Vista. XP service packs, the later service packs also had widgets. Like, I remember in the early 2000s setting up widgets on my desktop.
Yeah, I remember widgets.
Exactly. And they're now announcing them as brand new, sparkly, interesting features. It's like, no, this is the same old stuff.
Would you say that this is kind of like a grocery reset? In the grocery store where as soon as you get used to where everything is, someone comes along and just changes everything.
Yep.
And it forces you to look into different areas to find the products, which is a sneaky way of getting visual IDs on different products that they want you to look at.
Exactly. Hey, look at this end cap that I've never looked at before.
Right. So this is all part of sales psychology in the grocery industry. This is using your own psychology against you in order to produce more revenue for the grocery stores.
Sure.
Is this the same thing?
I think it's very similar.
So what's the purpose of making it look like Mac OS then?
It's trying to pull people over from being Mac users to using PCs instead.
Well, that I guess that kind of works since Apple is having some difficulties right now with hacks.
They are. Well, and so the reason that Apple is having difficulties with hacks is because they have gotten a larger share of users.
Okay.
The reason that they were able to say there are no Apple viruses early in the 2000s was because there were fewer Apple users. So there was less return on investment. Now that there are more Apple users, there are more people trying to break Apple.
Right. So now we have Microsoft, who has lost all those users to Apple over the years, who are just trying to get them back. So they are making Windows look like Apple.
Exactly.
I mean, we're speculating here, right?
Oh yeah, no, it's totally hypothetical.
Totally hypothetical. But this is part of the psychology. What do you think another reason why the change to Windows 11 after they went through this whole rigmarole of talking about Windows 10 being the final iteration?
Well, I think also that Microsoft is trying to rebrand itself to a certain extent. Times have changed. They've got new leadership. They've got new products that they're looking to offer. And rather than just saying, hey, we can update Windows 10, they want to show this as something new. It's entirely new. Look how different this is in order to get more people to buy in.
Now, are we gonna see a different approach here to getting more income for Microsoft generated through this?
I think so. I think what we're going to see is this. It's similar to what you were talking about earlier, kind of an operating system or OS as a subscription.
Mm-hmm.
And what will eventually happen is you'll pay a monthly fee to stay on this operating system and get the updates.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest problems that we have with humans, interestingly enough, is we hate change.
Mm-hmm.
And yet that is what drives the technology industry is change. And so they have to come up with all these, I guess you could say, subtle and extraordinary ways in which to force us to change. And there's a lot of folks out there that are going to resist this to the very end. They're going to be like,
oh yeah,
they're going to be like using Windows 10 in 2030 because I'm not going to do it. I'm sure there's people out there using Windows 95 still.
Oh, probably. There are definitely people out there still on Windows 7.
Yeah. Well, I remember Windows 7 to 8 that I wasn't happy that I had to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And I fought that. And I couldn't get any support, so I basically had
eventually had to.
I mean, it was just it's just an overhanded way of getting me to do stuff.
Exactly.
So that is some of the reasons why Windows 11 sucks. And that is our time. Thank you, Gwen, for hanging out with me today and helping cover while Nathan is not here. Next week, well, I don't know what we're going to do next week. We haven't had our thing yet. So we're going to ask you to go to techtimeradio.com and sign up to get our newsletter. As always, thank you for joining us. I am Mike Gordy in the Nathan's seat. We should expect to see him back next week. And we have Gwen Way, who has volunteered to hang out with us today in my seat. And of course, we have David back behind the board, who has been eloquently giving us phonetic
excellent as always
jibes and single finger salutes. So thanks again from TechTime Radio, the show that makes you go, Have a great day. I'm Mike Gordy. This is Gwen. And David behind the board. Have a nice afternoon. Enjoy your 4th of July weekend.
Try to keep cool.
Yeah, try to keep cool. Thank you for joining us, Tech Time Radio. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on Tech Time Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment in technology today. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service from Apple to Google and everything in between. And also signing up on our YouTube page, where you get to see us live in video. Yep, you can see us chat and have some fun. It's youtube.com/TechTimeRadio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at Tech Time Radio, remember, mum's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.
The views expressed on this program are those of